fundamentally, I try to lean into, or maybe that's just my preference because it's my background, but developing sort of bilateral strength qualities. However, I think that like my rationale kind of sits into the fact that they spend most of their time just with their body weight, and most of the time they do quite a lot of jumping as well. So I think having some sort of external load through like broad ranges of movement is like pretty valuable for them, and that's going to give them the most bang for their buck. But then within that, you'll have, some people might not tolerate that very well. They might have, we get a lot of lower back issues with the men, for example. So like axial loading isn't always tolerated. So then thinking of other ways that we can sort of get the same stimulus is also important. And then I guess second to that, what are the other strategies we have available to us? So, looking back on sort of some of the busier days that we might have, and like how we might achieve some sort of adaptation or some sort of load on a busier day without inducing too much fatigue. We might look at like various different trunk training, and that's, I guess, underpinned with the sort of high risk of lower back injury that we see as well in ballet. So there's like a really nice paper by like Alex Wolf and a couple other practitioners that kind of looks at like a whole variety of ways of looking at trunk training, whether that's like functional or non-functional, and essentially all that means is on feet or off feet. I typically don't like those terms, but they define them quite well. And then like pillar conditioning versus like segmental rotation or control. So playing around with different variations of training the trunk is quite a nice way to offer some S&C support without inducing sort of additional fatigue that you might get from sort of heavy bilateral squat training.